Hi dolls, Maria here with Sephora Hollywood and Highland. Today I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to create a full coverage foundation look for oily skin. If you want to learn how to recreate this look, please keep watching. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. So I already do have my eye look complete and my lip. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. And then just going ahead and just putting like a pea-sized amount in my hand, working it in before putting it onto my complexion. I do like to focus this product mainly where I do have pores. That's usually where I get a little bit more oily. And for me, that tends to be more towards my cheek and my nose area. And then everything else I spread out towards the end. Next, going in with my Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder and using my Sephora Collection Pro 74 brush. Dipping the brush in and making sure to tap out the excess product. We're going to go ahead and start applying this and pressing motion, starting in my cheek area and working myself towards the nose. Now you want to make sure that you do concentrate this product where you do get the most oily. For me, I have more pores around this area, so this is where I am applying it. I find that doing this step before my liquid foundation actually mattifies and minimizes the appearance of pores. So this is a great step to add before going in with your foundation. Next, using my Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place foundation in the shade Cashew and using my Sephora Collection number 56 brush. So next, I like to begin by placing a foundation down on my cheeks and stippling the product down to the outer perimeter of my face, working my way down to the neck. I love this foundation because the coverage is lightweight and buildable. Also, my face is a little lighter than the rest of my body, therefore I'm going to go ahead and use a warmer tone just to balance everything out, but we will go ahead and blend this out later on. Before moving on to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Urban Decay All Nighter Long Lasting Makeup Setting Spray and just doing 1 to 2 spritz onto my beauty blender. The reason why I'm using my beauty blender with my All Nighter before moving on to the next side is because I don't want to let the foundation dry down all the way. Doing this step before moving on to the next side of the face is going to go ahead and prevent the foundation from drying down all the way, so it's easier to blend. Moving on to the next side, repeating the same process with my number 56 brush. So by working in sections using my 56 brush, this is going to go ahead and allow for you to build the coverage, working one section at a time. So repeating the same process, using the Urban Decay All Night Setting Spray onto my beauty blender to make sure that the foundation lasts throughout the whole day. Repeating the same thing on my forehead. I like to do more stippling motions. For this area, I do like to use less product just to make sure that the color is even with the rest of my face, but not much for coverage. Alright guys, and because I do already have my eye makeup done, I'm just making sure to really go like around my eyebrow and the hairline, just make sure everything's blended. Alright dolls, once the complexion is done, so I like to make sure that I do bring the rest of my foundation down to the neck just to make sure everything's nice and blended. Because my hair is pulled back, I actually noticed that my ears are a little lighter as well, so I just went ahead and just put a little foundation all over. Next, going in with the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Golden Beige. Now grabbing the concealer and just highlighting underneath my eyes. I like to focus underneath the eye using a triangle of light. And what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and just open up my face a little bit more in this area. And next, I do like to go directly down the bridge of my nose, a little bit of my chin, and on the forehead. And this is just going to go ahead and bring concentration in the center of my face. And just remember guys, I always go ahead and do the setting spray on the beauty blender before blending underneath my face. Once again, going in with my damp beauty blender, just making sure everything's nice and blended. And again, by using that spray, it's just going to make sure that your makeup stays nice and put. For in between my brows, I am going in with the 71 brush from Sephora Collection. Now we're just going to go ahead and make sure we blend everything away before anything creases. Going in with my Sephora Collection brush in number 79. I'm going to dip my 79 brush onto the Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. And I really want to make sure that I set my face where I did that highlighting with the Too Faced using pressing motions. This is going to make sure to keep you matte throughout the day, so just pressing motions really focus that product where you tend to get more oily. Like I said, for me, it's more towards my T-zone. The main focus is going to be my cheeks and my nose. I do like to use a little bit of the setting powder just right underneath my cheekbones. And if you notice, this is just going to go ahead and kind of carve it out before going in with the bronzer later. Next, grabbing my beauty blender and dipping into the Mercier setting powder. I'm going to go ahead and start by pressing this underneath my eyes, aka baking. And if you notice, I'm only going to go ahead and set this where I did my highlighting concealer. And the reason for that, this is just where I get the most oily. Next, going in with that same 79 brush, I like to go in circular motions to buff this out instead of sweeping. The reason for that is that I'm really going to go ahead and work this powder into my pores, into the lines. So it's going to go ahead and give me a much more airbrush smooth application. And just really make sure you take your time with blending. Again, you don't want to go too much back and forth motions, just more circular motions in the areas where you tend to get a little bit more oily. naturally or if you notice you have more pores. Grabbing my larger 59 brush from Sephora collection, I'm just going to go ahead and buff out that powder that I had underneath my cheeks and just more sweeping motions. Alright guys, so next I'm going to go in with my Benefit Cosmetics Hoola Matte Bronzer in the shade Hoola. Going in with my 74 Sephora collection brush. And for placement, I like to make sure I grab a brush and put it in the middle of my ear and connect that towards my lip. And we want to go ahead and basically bronze right above that. And this is going to go ahead and lift our cheeks. Working in back and forth motions and then doing circular motions. I also want to make sure that I stop that contour right where the eye ends. It's going to go ahead and give you a much more natural effect. So now you guys see the difference from one side to the other one. She is lifted. Alright, repeating the same thing on the other side. If you do need a guideline, I always grab a brush and just do the same placement and start by blending it. But again, just making sure you are following that line. And I do like a more bronzy look. So again, you could stop with one application or just keep building it until you're satisfied. So for me, my face is a little bit more round. So I do like to focus the bronzer more towards my cheeks. But I like to make sure that everything's nice and balanced. So I go in with that same Hoola bronzer and just put a little bit around my forehead. And then just grabbing a little bit more product, I am going to go ahead and apply a little bit of my jawline just to kind of get that more chisel look. I don't like a really harsh line in this area, so I am going with a little bit of product just again to make sure everything's nice and balanced. Alright guys, just making sure that I'm bronzed on my neck area. I'm just going in with the 59 brush and doing that same Hoola bronzer all over, bringing it down my neck and the décolleté. So now that we're nice and bronzed all over the face, I do like to go ahead and add a little bit of bronzer on the sides of my nose. And for this, I'm using the Sephora Collection 27 brush. And this is actually just an eyeshadow brush. I love to use this brush to do the contour of my nose just because it's a little bit more on the detailed side. And then what I like to do is just go follow my natural shape of my brow and go on the sides of the nose, and then I cut it off a little bit towards the bottom. So now for this, I did realize I applied a little bit too much, but that's okay. Just go ahead and grab your translucent powder and just reapply it on top. And this is just going to go ahead and soften up the look. Alright guys, so now it's time for blush. I am going to go ahead and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Peachy Love. Grabbing my Sephora Collection 79 brush. So just putting 2 fingers right next to my nose. We're going to go ahead and smile, place the brush on my cheek, and then work my way out. The reason why I like to do the 2-finger trick is actually just going to go ahead and give me more of a lifted look than applying it right in the apples and then when you're not smiling for it to drag down. Just a little pro tip. Now that we completed both sides, I'm going in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and just doing a couple of spritz all over the face just to refresh the look. Finally, we're going to go ahead and add the glow. I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna in the Killawatt Freestyle highlighter using the shade Hustla Baby. Going in with that same Sephora Collection 79 brush, I'm going to go ahead and apply the highlight at the highest points of my cheekbones. And just kind of just looking back and forth, you could just see it adds a really pretty glow. This is also the reason why I did the setting spray before doing the highlighter. By adding the spray all over the face, this is going to go ahead and tone everything down so it's not too powdery and it's going to give you a much more metallic highlight. So just by finishing off by adding some highlighter on my neck, just to finish the complete look and just get a glow all over. And then lastly, guys, just making sure that we're setting all our work. This is going to ensure that everything lasts us throughout the whole day, and it is going to go ahead and keep us matte as well. All right, dolls, this is a final look. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please go ahead and comment below your favorite tips and tricks or even products that you love to use for oily skin. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.